Mike, let me read you this part. So here's what's normal. The Times actually takes us through this in the story. What's normal, actually, the Times reports out what the Justice Department manual says is normal. Quote, according to the Justice Department manual, settlements of claims against the department for more than $4 million, this is $230 million, quote, must be approved by the Deputy Attorney General or Associate Attorney General, meaning the person who oversees the agency's civil division. Quote, the current Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, served as Trump's lead criminal defense lawyer and said at his confirmation hearing in February that his attorney-client privilege with the president continues. The chief of the department's civil division, Stanley Woodward Jr., represented Trump's co-defendant, Walt Nauta, in the classified documents case. Mr. Woodward has also represented a number of other Trump aides, including Mr. Patel, in investigations related to Trump or the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. Just sort of working our way backward to the stunning event of Donald Trump seeming to be aware of how, let me actually quote someone in this article, outlandish is what one of your ethics experts says to the New York Times, this all is. Does any one of the three of us doubt, as I think you've already said, Mike, that this will be one more $230 million of taxpayer money that Donald Trump will pocket?
Look, in this country, we're all taught from a very young age about the three branches, about checks and balances and the sort of special sauce nature of them that makes our democracy the democracy that is, and that really sets it apart. And the uniqueness of the Trump second term is the ability to see a true testing of that, something we've all been taught, and seeing, okay, how do checks and balances in the three branches hold up? And this is a situation that, at least to me, the non-lawyer shows one of those tests. And there is no sort of natural remedy for it. You have a Congress that is compliant with Trump. You can't see them standing up for anything. It's a Congress run by folks that don't want to spend the government's money or believe in small government. But they would never say anything about this $200 million. Andrew lays out a situation in which taxpayers could try and bring a lawsuit to try to stop something like that. And sure, maybe something like that works. But if you think about the way that checks and balances are supposed to work, this seems to pierce right through it because he controls the presidency, he controls the Justice Department, and he's found a way through that to do what in many ways, dating back to his time in New York in the 70s and 80s, is essentially adjudicate his own lawsuits. And I don't know, obviously this is not something that the founders thought through. But it sure shows a stress on the checks and balance system that, when you ask someone, with a great legal mind like Andrew about it, the best he can come up with is a taxpayer brought lawsuit. And I don't know what the chances of that are, but my guess is that they're probably not very high.
Well, I also think we sometimes reach around for examples of what happens in this country when the rule of law is dead. And a lot of it is what we've been covering together, that Donald Trump is able to find anyone, he has to work his way down to the least experienced person that we've heard of so far, Lindsey Halligan, to indict his enemies. But the other side of it is at a time when record numbers of Americans are missing car payments and turning in their cars, at a moment when food banks are running out of food on the shelves. It's a combination of the shutdown and the ailing economy. At a time when people have record low confidence in their personal finances, the end of the rule of law means Donald Trump can grab $230 million from the American taxpayer. Andrew, what is the way to sort of explain that the end of the rule of law hurts everybody?
Yeah, well, let's just remember, we are not that far away from 7 or so million people protesting in a No Kings peaceful demonstration. And this is I would like to say exhibit A, but it's at this point, it's, exhibit AAA to someone who's acting like a king, as Mike said, is on both sides of this issue. We also are in a government shutdown where you have public servants who are going to work and not getting paid. You have others who are being furloughed who are not getting paid. And then you have the modeling of this gross behavior where somebody with what appears by all accounts to be a frivolous lawsuit, not a strong lawsuit, a frivolous lawsuit saying, I want $230 million. So the timing of this just could not be more salient for people to understand what is going on, that you have somebody who basically is going, you know what, until somebody stops me, I am going to do everything. And I mean, I was not being facetious by saying that he could just say, you know what, I'm just going to take everything out of the Treasury and Fort Knox, and to just be to quip. I mean, this is checks and balances, but it's bank checks and bank balances that he is thinking about, not actually checks and balances on power, where the framers the system is to divide power better to preserve liberty. That is why we have checks and balances, because the idea was that no one branch should have this kind of control. And when you're on both sides of a lawsuit, this is handing, I think, the Democrats such a weapon to sort of tell people what is going on, where the victim is the American people. I mean, they are the ones who will be out the $230 million.